Who would care if I died? Who would give a rat's ass? Better or worse, your name is on the top of the list. Maybe it's the only name on the list. So I set up a dead man's switch and to send you this call. Got 100,000 nuyen in the insurance policy. Payable when you find out who creased me. Alive with a conviction or in a body bag with justification. Either works. Contact my law firm, Rogers Murgert and McCain. When the job is done, they'll know what to do. He turns to his left. Chet. The camera swivels to a well-dressed man sitting next to Sam. Pursuant to Mr. Watts's wishes, Rogers, Mangert and McCain has installed a secure, dedicated phone line, so you may contact us directly when the task is complete. We will then begin a verification process. Note that you must also be on a secure landline to access this number. We will not accept transmissions from comlinks or other devices. Sam straightens up and talks seriously for the first time. Look, I've led a shit life. That's pretty much what direct means. And I probably left a shit corpse. I've hurt people, hurt myself, I don't know. Maybe I just want the last word. Maybe I just want someone to give a crap that I sucked air for a while. I'd say I've traded a drinking buddy for a paycheck. Someone will pay. I hope you said yes. I've got a locator chip slotted in my head these days. If, when my heart stops beating, it'll activate. That's how you'll find me. I'll see you on the meat slab. I'll see you in Seattle. Your plane hits the SeaTac tarmac with a jolt. Welcome to Seattle. The chilly northwest rain obscures your vision as you step onto the tarmac. Before long, you're sitting in the cramped back seat of a cab, following the signal from Sam's locator chip to the heart of the Redmond Barrens. Redmond Barrens isn't a very good place to be. Organ grinders, a legal chop shop for body parts. Whether from the living or from the dead, if you're hurting bad enough for money, this is the place to sell a limb or an organ. It's also a good place to dispose of an inconvenient body while making a little cash on the side. This franchise is the closest thing the Barrens has to a morgue. It seems where Sam's body has ended up. You open the door and are assaulted by the smell of death and bleach. He's in the back, apparently. The smell of death and decomposition washes over you, only slightly masked by the minty fake fresh of industrial grade antiseptic. That's the guy we're looking for, Dresden. This dude's not looking too great. Hi, Dresden. I like Dresden. Hovering over the recently departed is a small dwarf, whistling a tune. His broad grin says, "I love my job," with a little more than you'd want or expect from someone in the chop shop trade. As you approach, he looks up with a lopsided grin. There's something kindly in his eyes, although it might just be a stray reflection of chrome and surgical tools. Sorry, I didn't expect any visitors at this hour, and some arsehole corporate took my receptionist. What can I do for you today, sir? Are you the coroner? I'm John Dresden, the organ grinders branch manager here, so yes, that kind of makes me this area's coroner too. And you are? No, I'm Def Jack. I represent a man named Sam Watts, and I'm here to look into his murder. Interesting. A dead man makes for a strange client. What makes you think he's here? He has a locator chip embedded in his skull, and I followed that here. Well, you're right, he is here. Not too many people know about the murder yet, though. The press haven't caught wind of it yet. What being of all the way out here in the Barrens. So who told you he was dead? I'm not going to tell him about the money, though. Sam's digital ghost, when his heart stopped, I got sent a recorded message. asking me to bring his killer to justice. I guess he had a hunch. The dwarf raises his eyebrows, a smile wiping the suspicion from his face. A dead man switch, eh? Fascinating. I was working with him earlier. He's over there. And he's just gonna run his little tiny dwarf legs down here. Here's my second Emerald City Ripper victim. The third one was downtown. I guess the classics never go out of style. Not my title, but that's what the Seattle Press insists on calling the killer. Now all I know is that he likes the original Jack, or our Ripper, knows how to handle a scalpel. But this one's even more twisted. He or she always removes an internal organ from the victim. And what prize did the Ripper take from Sam? Watts' liver was cleanly cut out. Whiz is kind of a word for cool. What about the other lucky contestants? First victim's heart was missing, and the third had a spleen removed. Dresden, get out here! Sam's body is half covered by a surgical sheet, his face an ashen white for the first time without a smirk on it. Below the chest there is a small pencil-thin incision covered by dried blood. Beyond that, the corpse is immaculate. It would seem that the killer knew exactly what they wanted from him and took it. The seamstress's union? Something handwritten on the back, but blood has made it illegible. It's a standard, cheap, unsecured cred stick. No way of knowing what's on it without slotting it. We'll take that. 300 quid. And we'll look at his purple shirt. And blood has been thoroughly soaked. The bag sloshes a bit in your hand. Oh, so we've got a lead, almost, the seamstress's union. And we have a basic med kit, which we have looted. Towering over the diminutive coroner is a homicide detective right out of Central Casting. You ignore the tusks, pointed ears, and Nathaniel Neanderthal brow. You can tell this cheap aftershave from a mile away. So this new Ripper Watts. Name's familiar. Didn't know his mother killed herself a while back? You insisted at the time. Come on, she offed herself. I had it on very good authority. Now, let's go, Dresden. Give me something to work with here. This Ripper case is my ticket to Lieutenant's badge. I've already posted everything I know. The killer stuns the targets with a combination of drugs and magic, then removes a single organ while they're still alive. The perpetrator is most likely right-handed, with a slim hand that knows his way around a scalpel. Has a decent understanding of human and meta-human anatomy, too. So I'm looking for a whacked-out surgeon. Not necessarily. I don't know any surgeons who still use scalpels anymore. These days it's all done with computer-controlled lasers. Could be anyone from a military field surgeon to an antique medicine aficionado. You're no damn help, dwarf. The Lone Star detective finally notices you. You notice superhuman powers of observation. Who the hell are you? I'm the nobody who didn't hear nothing. That's right, and if you ever do hear something, I'll knock it right out of your head. He looks back at the dwarf. Dresden, get me more. I'm putting someone on this cell for a box this week, and I'm claiming my promotion. And he just plods along his way. Do you always make friends that easy? I'm great at dinner parties, too. You really gonna work for the dead man? I'm gonna return the favor. Detective McClutsky isn't interested in anything but Detective McClutsky. He's convinced he'd convict his own mother if he meant another 10 union a week in his paycheck. Plus he's on the take. You have honor. After a fashion. I try to honor the dead in my work, so we have that in common. What can I do for you? Someone who has some major pull has been looking out for McCluskey's career. And wallet. What was that McCluskey said about Sam's mother? The official report is that she committed suicide about a year ago. Aren't you supposed to be the official in that sentence? My name's on the report, but my actual findings left some doubts. I can't actually say it was suicide, but there are unusual bruises on her upper arms, and she didn't use her dominant hand to pull the trigger. I was told to drop it, so I dropped it. So what are organs worth these days? Well, a whole healthy body can be worth a bunch of money, but the individual organs? Not worth as much anymore, what with all the synth and cyber stuff on the market these days. Organ grinders only deal in the recently deceased. There's plenty of other chop shops that aren't as picky though. And they don't care where the bodies come from either. Who would still use scalpels? Doctors learn how to use them in their first year of medical school, as do coroners, but neither profession uses them as much anymore. It's possible some other slimier chop shop still uses scalpels, I suppose, but I wouldn't know where to look. Have you heard of the Seamstresses Union by any chance? It's a nearby club in the Barrens that attracts lowlifes. You'd probably like it. Me, I'm not really the going out type. Always too much to be done around here. Plus, the dead are just easier to get along with. Where was Sam killed? Intently for a moment before speaking. You know, I might be able to do you one better. Why don't you poke around these body lockers in back and see if you find anything useful? Okay, I'll go do that. We have to go open a morgue drawer. Cold storage drawer is labelled John Doe, but the internal thermostat is set to 21 degrees Celsius. We'll open this drawer. The cold storage drawer opens to reveal the fully clothed body of a man, arms folded across his chest, in addition to sporting some of the brightest orange hair you've ever seen. The body seems to be in a very good condition. Whoa, easy there. Jake Armitage, everybody. If anyone's played the original Super Nintendo Shadowrun game, this is the main character of that. Good old Jake Armitage, and you start off in a meat locker, quite like this one, labelled John Doe. So I quite like the little addition to this, and when I first saw this, it blew my mind and I loved it. In one quick move, he jumps out from the drawer and stands before you. For someone who just woke up in a morgue locker, he seems unfazed and pretty well put together. You spot a data jack drilled into his temples and some shamanistic tattoos peeking above his collar. An interesting combination. I told John to wake me up at 6 in the morning. Is it 6 yet? It doesn't feel like 6 yet. Why do I look like a damn alarm clock? Give me a break, chummer. I haven't had my soak-ups yet. Well, so much for a good night's sleep. On the plus side, I notice you haven't killed me yet, so that's good. If you aren't after me, then what's your story? I'm looking into the death of Sam Watts. The coroner seems to think you can help me. Sam, eh? Glad somebody cares. We used to drink together every now and then, over at the Union. Decent enough guy. Always trouble over something or other, though. Yep. John, is this guy cool? Yeah, he's on the level. Working for Sam, I believe it or not. Some kind of dead man switch. Thought you should help him out. Maybe stop him moping around the shop all day. Thanks for volunteering me. He pauses. Might be sizing you up, but it's hard to tell behind those awesome shades. Alright, the name's Jake. And you are? Nice to meet you, Jake. Oh, and well-mannered too. Such a rare thing in this city. Well, it sounds like you're taking a dive into the deep end here. John's right, I might be able to help you out. I was with Sam the other night. The night of the murder, that was. Poor guy, he's been hanging out the Seamstresses Union that night. Tripped out and rowdy. I'd been laying low there for a few days after a bad run. Mrs. Kubota, we'll meet her in a little bit, asked me to throw Sam out, so I did. But out in the alley, some gangers took the jump on me. Damn, maybe I need some soy calf after all. John, could you grab me a cup? Get your own damn cup. My hands are dirty anyway. What's wrong with this intestine? You hear a loud squelching sound as Dresden continues his work. Thanks, John. You're a real pal. Anyway, there's a big fat corp bounty on my head. Like I said, the last job didn't exactly go according to plan. Out in the alley, a few Halloweeners got the jump on us. Damn gangers thought they could turn a quick profit off my head. He smiles, and you get the impression that he didn't work out so well for the gangers. Sam stumbles off during the fight, though, and that's the last I saw of him, until he turned up here, dead on arrival. Reminds me of my last stay in this place. That's another reference to the SNES. You've done this before? Hey, it's a long story. I end up in the morgue more often than the average guy. Yep, Jake here's a regular. Should have started a rewards card. Jake, a few more visits and you get a free night stay. I'll hold you to that one. Anyway, they found Sam's body less than a block away from the Union, missing liver and all. Tell you what, you look like you can handle yourself in a fight. I could use some backup in Seattle to score those Halloweeners out there. The leader's got the whole gang searching the barrens for me. I need to get rid of that arsehole. In return, I'll take you to the place Sam was murdered. It's not safe for the streets alone at night. Trust me. Jake eyes you up and down. Maybe I'll throw in some decent supplies while we're at it. What'd you say? Gotta be careful in this trade. I'm not one to go back on a deal there. John can vouch for that. Plus, you know where I'm hiding out, right? Doesn't leave me a lot of room to sell you out. Yeah, we'll do some street justice. Great, I've been hiding out here ever since that run-in with those Halloweeners. Whiny bunch of gangsters. But this stretch of the Barrens is their turf. Hell, I'm surprised you even made it this morgue in one piece without packing some heat. Very funny, Jake. You can take a sleep in the dumpster tomorrow. You got a rifle I can have? You don't like library windows, do you? Never mind. Here's a rifle you can borrow. That is another reference. We got an AK-97. Only if you're buying. Hey, I've already paid the party favors. We would like to... We have 2 karma, and we have our rifle equipped. That's good. We have £300, which we looted from our friend's dead body. And we're going to run down here. We are going to head out to the Redmond Barrens. Run in the business, the Barrens doesn't like you. Take 1 part radioactive wasteland, 3 parts dog-eat-dog slum, and a dash of tourist trap, and you've got a recipe for a mean as hell. You leave the sanitized, deaf and formalide of organ grinders behind, entering the anarchy and desperation of the streets. Jake stops for a moment to breathe deeply, filling his lungs with motorcycle exhaust, radioactive dust, cordite, and who knows what else, and exhales with an expression of wry contentment. A stench of grime tells him he's home. My stash is just around the corner in the alley. Ooh, he doesn't look like he's doing too well. Let's come see this guy. Friend? Are you okay? Calm down. I'm Deafjack. What's your name? Vlad. You a shaman, Vlad? Thought so. So what did you see? I saw something the other night. Spirit so dark. So alien that... Where did you see this? Just across the street from the Seamstresses Union. It's gone now, Vlad. It's not going to kill you. You're safe. Feels a little bit better, just need some sleep. Good old Vlad. It's a prostitute. Oh, elves are your favourite, eh? Whoa. Alright. Open the safe, the mag card. A perfect match for your skills. You take the gear. Got a frag grenade, a med kit, and a deck. That's a bit rude. Thanks. Jake's got a bit of a beastly pistol on him. Go. Good dead drops are so hard to keep. Well, at least they were too dumb to break my maglock. Now that you've got some gear, let's go deal with those Halloweeners. Pretty much what we obtained out of that was a new deck, which is, it's pretty much the beginner deck. It's going to help us out, but we're really not going to be breaking into any amazing places soon. You do need a data jack, which is literally like a plug that goes into your head, which gets you into the Matrix. And yes, it's surprisingly closer to the actual Matrix that you're probably thinking of right now than it should be.